Tonight on News 5 Live, Shine stands alone in his opposition to the Cuban president's visit. Lord's Bank president found chopped to death. Senate debates TBD loan motion. A fire in Hattieville leaves another family homeless. And on the bright side, Buena Vista villagers create a tapestry out of banana waste. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Staying connected with your loved ones while traveling is even more important during this global pandemic. With Digi, this is even easier and more convenient with our data roaming plans. Postpaid customers have instant access to mobile data when in 41 destinations worldwide. With 3 affordable plans, starting at only $28, it's easy to instantly connect via your favorite digital platform. To purchase your data roaming plan, contact Digi before your travel date. If you are already abroad, you can contact us via email at digihelp@livedigi.com or via WhatsApp at 608-8888. For more information, visit our website at livedigi.com/digicel or visit a Digi store near you. You can roam, stay safe, and stay connected with Digi.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Environmentally degradable plastics, or EDP, are plastics that are affected by a combination of environmental conditions that cause the plastic to break down within an acceptable time frame. They are specifically designed to degrade into carbon dioxide, water, and other biomass substances. The level of breakdown can vary based on standard test methods appropriate to the plastic. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, February 10th. I am Anlina Colonio. His Excellency Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, the first Secretary of the Cuban Communist Party and the President of the Republic of Cuba, will arrive in Belize on Sunday, February 12th. The president will arrive on Sunday morning for a one-day visit and participate in bilateral meetings, sign agreements with the Belize government, and participate in a special sitting of the National Assembly on Sunday. One member of the National Assembly who will not be attending Sunday's special sitting is Leader of the Opposition, Shine Barrow. On Thursday, Barrow proclaimed that he does not intend to support any of the events planned for the official visit. According to the opposition leader, he cannot attend and, quote, give celebration and credibility to such a despotic leader, unquote. Today, News 5 asked Minister of Foreign Affairs, Eamon Courtney, about the opposition leader's stance against the Cuban government.
The visit by President Diaz-Canel is historic. The relations between Cuba and Belize go back before independence. Cuba was in the vanguard when we were struggling for independence, for recognition, for the right to exercise our right to self-determination and to become an independent country within all our territory. And for that, I think that Belizean people will be eternally grateful. There have been many times in the diplomatic world, at least what I have been involved in, and I'm sure with other foreign ministers, where there are issues on which we need support and help, and Cuba is one of the first to rally behind Belize's cause on different issues. We at the same time have also provided a lot of diplomatic support for Cuba and will continue to do so. I think Belizeans need to understand, and in fact I think they realize and appreciate it. There are, I don't know, dozens, if not hundreds, of Belizeans who have studied at Cuban universities, many of them on scholarships. There are many of them serving Belize now. I don't understand how somebody can have a problem with the Cuban government and Cuba itself when we have Cuban members of the brigade on the ground in Belize, serving in rural areas, providing health service to Belizeans in need. We are satisfied that that is an essential service, and we are very thankful for that. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of Belizeans currently living in houses provided by Cuba, and we are thankful for that. Now, let's bring ourselves to this century. Belizeans will remember when COVID epidemic started, the Henry Reeve Brigade came here, went on the front line to help Belizeans, to protect Belizeans when there was absolutely no cure for COVID-19. They risked their life. They provided humanitarian service to us. We are eternally grateful for that. And so my position is very simple. The leader of the opposition is supposedly boycotting, and for whatever reason he has given, my belief is that he's afraid that the Americans will take away his visa, and so he's acting in his own interest rather than in the public interest. We will warmly welcome the president and his delegation. We stand with Cuba, and we will continue to support Cuba.
Not all UDP party members agree with the opposition leader's position on the Cuban president's visit. This morning, Hugo Pat, the area representative for Corozal North, took to social media to express support for the Cuban president and the republic's strong ties with Belize. Pat told us that he and many of his colleagues within the UDP are in support of the visit.
I think the visit is the first time that we have the president of the Republic of Cuba coming to visit Belize, and I think that this is a brilliant opportunity, and it shows the long-standing relationship that Belize has had with Cuba. I think at this point it's important to indicate that Cuba has been a brother or sister, you name it, and it's there, particularly considering the fact that Cuba has had this embargo and economic sanctions for some 6 years, and despite the hardships that this has brought upon the economy of Cuba, they have always been there to support Belize, and so we must, as a country, be able to show that sort of appreciation and brotherhood for the country and the people of Cuba, no?
Do you intend to be present at any of these events?
As long as I am alive and healthy, I intend to be there.
What do you make of your party leader's position, albeit an independent position on his part?
Well, everybody is entitled to his or her opinion, and so we have to respect that. But from my standpoint, and I could pretty much indicate that, the majority of colleagues are in support of the president's visit, and more than anything, they welcome the president to Belize, to casa del señor excelentísimo presidente de Cuba.
As for the details of the official visit, although President Miguel Diaz-Canel will only be in the country for a few hours, the bilateral signals a commitment to cooperation between Belize and Cuba. Minister Courtney outlines what will take place on Sunday and the significance of the relationship between both countries.
This is a return for the visit that the Prime Minister made when he went to Cuba, and the President and his delegation will have a bilateral with the Prime Minister and his delegation. Then there will be an address to a special sitting of the National Assembly, which will be broadcast so that the Belizeans can hear from the Cuban President himself and also the Prime Minister. And then he will meet with the Cuban collaborators and Cuban citizens who are in Belize to make contact with his people, and then he leaves shortly thereafter. So it is a very quick visit, but it is important. A state visit by any head of state to another country is a sign and signal of the solidarity, cooperation, and the strength of the relationship between the two countries. And that is the way we would like to characterize this visit. We are very thankful for him to come, to bring his delegation, and as I said, we welcome him.
In a one-on-one interview with Minister of Foreign Affairs, Eman Courtney, News 5 asked about the concerns that the opposition and some Belizeans have expressed about former Guantanamo Bay detainee Majid Khan. Khan had served 20 years in detention after pleading guilty to his involvement in terrorist activities. Belize's decision to accept the U.S. government's request to resettle Khan in Belize is uncharted territory. We asked the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Eman Courtney, to respond to the concerns. He says while he understands Belizeans have nothing to worry about.
They have a legitimate reason to be concerned and to seek assurance from the government. We are happy to do so. First of all, this is a matter that has been considered for several months. This has been extended and extensive negotiations. We have been provided with copious documents by the U.S. authorities. These documents include medical assessments of Khan. Those have been reviewed and considered by our experts and who have provided advice to government. We have been provided with tremendous amount of information on how Mr. Khan has behaved, his rejection of radicalism, and the assessment of any security threat. These have been done by high-level U.S. authorities, and our CIB have also done their assessment. Mr. Khan has been locked up for 20 years. Mr. Khan has had no contact with anyone for 20 years. Mr. Khan is, in my view, not a threat to the security of Belize because not only the U.S. security forces but the Belizean security forces have advised the government that based on their analysis of the situation, there is no threat. Belizeans, we say to you as a government, we would not have agreed to this if there was a risk to Belizeans. The fact is that we were asked to take 3 people, and our security forces rejected 2. So this is not the ask and we say yes. This was carefully considered and carefully calibrated, and a proper assessment was done. I can say with confidence that there is an elaborate security blanket in place that monitors and reports on Mr. Khan and his activities. We are in constant contact with the United States of America, sharing information, and we believe that what is in place will redound to the security concerns of the Belizean people.
Over the weekend, reports surfaced once again of Haitian nationals arriving at the Philip Golson International Airport. And while a visit to Belize doesn't always warrant news attention, it is when there is an allegation of extortion by immigration officers. Information shared with News 5 is that inside the passports were monies in exchange for the immigration officers to turn a blind eye. Today, News 5 caught up with the CEO of the Ministry of Immigration, Dr. Gilroy Middleton, who says collecting any money by an immigration officer in cases like these is illegal. An investigation is underway in this matter.
Why are immigration officers allegedly taking monies from these persons to allow them entry into the country?
Well, as you noted, that wouldn't be the protocol. That wouldn't be what should be done or what is required to be done. So we're currently doing our investigation, and that will be sent to the Public Service Commission. If any funds are collected as alleged, that is wrong. That is actually illegal, and we're addressing it.
So these officers may be at risk of losing their jobs?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that. That's the Public Service Commission, the Ministry of Public Service, but we're working on address it within the processes and within the framework that is there.
But it's frowned upon, or at least zero tolerance for something like this?
Not only is it frowned upon, it's illegal, it's immoral, and it's wrong. So as you said, zero tolerance, and we're addressing it. As noted, it was brought out to the public. So that was addressed. So it could say there are also officers that know that it's wrong, and they would have had to been the ones that brought it out.
A Lords Bank Village resident was shot to death on Old Well Road in that community just after midnight this morning. 28-year-old Alburn Rivera's body was found in some bushes on the road about a quarter-mile from the Philip Golson Highway. A purple and brown beach cruiser bicycle was near the body. Darlene Fuller, Rivera's mother, identified Rivera's body to the police. Fuller declined to talk when we visited her at her house in Belize City today. She said she had no information as to why her son was killed. Police have not issued any official information on this latest murder as of news time. The father of an aggrieved former Canaan Seventh-day high school student who claims one of the teachers at the high school had sent her indecent messages has met with officials of the Ministry of Education. The father informed News 5 today that he met on Thursday with the ministry officials to discuss the allegation and the course of action that follows such an allegation. The upset father also responds to a press release by the Belize National Teachers Union, BNTU, on Thursday. In the release, the union stated that in no way defends the actions of any teacher who takes lightly the sacred trust bestowed upon them in this profession. Furthermore, the union states that it condemns any form of pedophilic behavior. The union said that its role as a union is to represent its members on all matters that pertain to their employment to ensure that due process, as outlined in the Education Act and rules, is adhered to by administrations and management and the ministry. But this does not mean it defends teachers culpable of misconduct or indecency. Today, the father responded to the BNTU release, but first, he briefed us on how the meeting with the ministry went.
I had a meeting yesterday with the Ministry of Education. It lasted about 75 minutes. Several of the team members and officers, a chief executive officer and the chief education officer and the general manager was there in the meeting. The meeting was very productive. I was walked through the entire process of when incidents like this happen, from beginning to end, who does what, when, how, along with the timelines. So I'm very grateful to them to taking the time out to meet with me and to explain that to me. I must say that there is currently an ongoing effort by the ministry to work with the schools. There's a campaign, I guess you could call it that, to work with the schools, to educate them on these processes, to ensure that they're followed, to ensure that there's accountability, and to ensure that there's no gaps or delays. As it relates to the press release, there's two main things. The first thing is the comments that Mrs. Smith had as it relates to teachers cannot just be put on administrative leave just like that. That's wrong. Yes, they can, especially for incidents such of this nature, of this gravity. So that's erroneous. That's wrong. The other thing is that she misspoke when she said parents can't just all act hastily, something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing here. But she made it seem like the parent, me, in this incident, just ran in there all willy-nilly and didn't give a chance for due process to happen. Number one, that's not true. Number two, that's absurd. The school had a week to act on this. Before I went to the media houses, they were told multiple times that I would go to the media houses should they fail to act. And they did. They failed to put a teacher with ample evidence that was provided on administrative leave. It was not until I went to the media houses.
The father also said that when he asked the ministry officials if any other matter was brought to their attention about an incident involving another teacher who was fired, their response was that, to their recollection, no report of such was made. This, he says, prompts him to question if that teacher still holds a teacher's license. Coming up, Senate debates $8 million loan. Find out the details when we come back.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling, and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy." Robert Louis Dabney was an outstanding Presbyterian theologian during the mid-19th century. He served as a minister, as a chaplain, as a chief of staff in General Stonewall Jackson, and helped establish a seminary in Austin, Texas. As he aged, he began to worry about his impending death and expressed his fears in a letter to a former student and theologian, C.R. Vaughan. He wondered about his ability to die honorably and to hold on to his Christian faith. Vaughan replied, "Dear friend, let me advise you now, as you often have me. If you were about to cross a deep chasm and there was a bridge over it, would you stand there looking in at yourself, wondering if you trusted enough in the bridge to be able to cross? Or would you not rather go and examine the beams and timbers of the bridge and the quality of its construction and determine whether the bridge was trustworthy and then pass over it in confidence? Our faith is in Christ. Spend yourself focusing on Him and His sufficiency rather than on yourself. May this be a goal for all of us." Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
You know the saying, desperate times call for desperate measures. What do you do when you get to a dead end? Sometimes life just doesn't go the way we planned it to go. And when you're in those seasons of life, what do? Where do you go? Who do you turn to? Join Sagebrush Church as we begin our series, Dead End Desperation, where we'll talk about following God in some of the hardest moments of our lives. Be sure to visit sagebrush.church or download the Sagebrush app for locations, service times, and more.
All Capital Sports and Muy Uno presents Friday Night Lights, featuring the battle of undefeated teams on Friday, February 10th, inside the Belize Civic Center. It's your high-octane, sharp-shooting, high-flying Belize City Defenders returning home to do battle with the Western Ballers Basketball Club. Come bear witness as Stephen Bailey shoots his way into your heart. JT Branch soaring up high, and to entertain the fans, the Talladega Tornado Nigel Jones will be pushing the pace of the game. But wait, we have something for you. The first 200 persons entering the Civic will receive a free Defenders Limited Edition t-shirt. The official after party goes down at Shisha 8 Lounge. Tip-off is set for 9 p.m. and tickets go on sale on Thursday at 10 a.m. at the Civic Center ticketing booth. Sponsored by Muy Uno, 123 Vegetable Oil, Honorable Anthony Mala, Channel 5, The Tavern, Print Inc., Premier Charters and Tours, Body 2000, Shisha 8 Lounge, Brain Freeze Margaritas, Full Memory Photography, Smiling Meats, Nocturnal, and Mars Rental.
An $8 million trade and investment loan from the International Development Bank was brought to the Senate for debate today. As was mentioned during our coverage of last week's House meeting, the government is seeking the ratification of the loan motion to develop a single investment window in Belize. As the opposition did in the House of Representatives, Senator Michael Perfit also voted against the motion. Meanwhile, Senator Kevin Herrera spoke about the importance of the loan motion.
We're here today to ask the Senate to vote to ratify the borrowing of $33 million US, and we're barely into February. Madam President, if I may say this before I get into the actual motion and the loan contract. This is coming from a government whose current leader and prime minister said when he was in opposition, we need to stop borrowing and we need to stop raising taxes and borrowing, and we need to grow the economy. And the first item on the Senate for debate, in the Senate for debate for this year, is to borrow $66 million. His first motion, Madam President, for $8 million US, so $16 million. For what? What are we borrowing $16 million for? Because the public wants to know. Allow us to borrow $16 million for activities that will, one, improve investment facilitation through simplification, standardization, and automation of key investment procedures through the implementation of the single investment window. What that? Madam President, what is that?
When we're looking at bringing in investors in, it's extremely frustrating and sometimes discouraging when they have to be finding them when they have to be knocking from one ministry, one office to the other, trying to figure out the process to go about these investments, to get the necessary permits, to get the necessary authorizations that they need. And so the investment window that we have been asking for all these decades was an effort to bring all of this together so that people don't have to be wandering around, wondering what to do, trying to figure it out, especially persons who are coming in to invest in the country.
A $15 million loan from the IDB to support micro, small, and medium enterprises as well as farmers was the second loan motion from the House of Representatives to be debated at today's Senate meeting. While there were objections from the opposition senators as to the amount being borrowed, Senator for the Church Alvin Bengoshe says his recently concluded meetings with sugarcane farmers in northern Belize have given him an appreciation for the support that this loan motion can offer them.
And I thought that it was very important to have met with them. And in a sense, for me personally, very educational. And this is where, for example, I take note of what is here. To provide direct support for farmers, agricultural groups, and MSMEs for sustainable and inclusive development in the area of environmentally sustainable and climate resilient farming systems and sustainable and inclusive agri-food markets. And I thought it is important to point that out because one of the things that we were educated on is the fact that, for example, the cane farmers and their method of actually growing cane, at this point in time, is not sustainable, especially for the small farmers, those who have small fields. And at this point in time, it is important that especially in the area of trying to get them to develop and improve their cane growing, and thus it will mean further growth for Belize itself. It is important that we look at sustainable ways of assisting these farmers.
Borrowing for a right cause is good. There's nothing wrong with borrowing. What we don't want to do is to borrow for things that are non-productive, that things that don't have impact on development, an impact on people, and how we live, how we prepare for the future.
Senator for the government, Christopher Koyi, addressed recent criticisms about government's borrowing habits. It's been a recurring theme in the National Assembly, public debt, and loan motions. Opposition parties usually criticize the government of the day for raising the country's debt. In today's Senate meeting, Senator Koyi sought to defend his government's performance where domestic and external obligations are concerned.
In February 2008, our total domestic debt was $350 million. By 2015, it had increased to $475 million. Between 2015 and 2020, it increased to $1.3 billion. In that one term of office, it increased by $825 million. Over the entirety from 2008 to 2020, domestic debt increased from $350 million to $1.3 billion, an increase of $950 million, or almost $1 billion in debt. Since change of government, the change in domestic debt, the total domestic debt, has been a total of $15 million. The debt has gone from $1.3 billion to $1.315 billion. 15 million in over 2 years and 3 months. I don't see how that's excessive borrowing. $15 million in over 2 years. $15 million in domestic debt.
According to Senator Koyi, Belize's external debt ballooned from $1.5 billion in 2008 to almost $3 billion in 2020. He added that from 2020 to date, the external debt has reduced to $2.7 billion. Corporal Elmer now was back in court along with his wife and brother-in-law, and they all will have a case to answer to for 2 counts of kept unlicensed ammunition for 139 live rounds of ammunition. Senior Magistrate Baha Shoman today read 4 more new charges, one for the murder of Vivian Ramnaris and the attempted murder, use of deadly means of harm, and wounding of Yemi Alberto. Last Friday, the 3 individuals' attorney made a no-case submission on the unlicensed ammunition charges. Today, Senior Magistrate Shoman rejected the submission. In doing so, she noted that the evidence before the court, being that of a firearm, a bulletproof vest, magazines, and 139 rounds, were spoken of in the Crown's case. Corporal Chun testified before the court about making the bust. He stated that items were removed from a Nissan Versa driven by Corporal Na after they were all called to answer the charges. The defense opened their case, and Na Manuel Calis and his wife were read their rights. Na and his wife are set to testify under oath. The case was adjourned for March 16th, minutes before being called to answer to the charges for the ammunition-related offenses. Na made a number of loud outbursts and resisted being read his additional charges in connection to the double, now turned triple murder, in connection to the recent murders of the Ramnaris brothers and John's wife, Vivian. He said, "Where is the gun? Una de chance me." Na's case on the murder charges was further adjourned for March 3rd in the Belmopan Magistrates Court. An elderly man was robbed of over $600 when he attempted to make a kind gesture. According to Aubrey Dale Garbett, he was at home alone when a man he said was known to him stopped by to visit. The man then asked for some water and to use the bathroom. And when he came out, he attacked the older man, took away his wallet, stole his cash, and then escaped. Garbett then reported to the police, leading to the arrest of 40-year-old Leo Grant. Grant was arraigned in the Belize City Magistrates Court today on a single charge of robbery. Grant, who was unrepresented, appeared before Senior Magistrate Aretha Ford, where he pleaded not guilty to the robbery charge. In court, no plea was taken from Grant, bail was denied, and he was remanded to the Belize Central Prison. The incident occurred on July 21st, 2022. After the break, Belize launches its Green Climate Fund Country program. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there were not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
The same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases, such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need to help before it's too late, Mom.
We can't let it get worse.
What can I do?
We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in CARI Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
On behalf of the Social Security Board, I extend our deepest gratitude for taking the opportunity offered to be a part of this amazing learning experience. Today, you graduate empowered with knowledge. You graduate with a new skill set that you can put to good use and benefit from it. You have now acquired the knowledge and you are fully prepared to build on the foundation that you have fostered.
We consider ourselves privileged to be offered an opportunity by the Belize Social Security Board to partner with them in this effort.
What I can say is that I'm happy because I'm learning in something that I choose to do.
So we want to thank Social Security Board to provide the funding for that, and we appreciate it, and we hope they continue to provide opportunities like this for more people. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations to the January 2023 cohort Empowering You participants. On behalf of the Social Security Board, I wish you nothing but the very best.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the Split the Bill button where he selects the Evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
A fire completely gutted a house at mile 14.5 off the George Price Highway today. News 5 arrived at the scene when the blaze was still in progress and firefighters from the Ladyville Fire Station were extinguishing the fire. The 25 by 15-foot metal house occupied by Marlon Longsworth and his family was completely destroyed. Fire officials have not yet indicated how the fire started. Today, the Belize Trade and Investment Development Service, Beltrade, introduced 2 training incubators, one a fixed office unit at its Belize City outlet on Coney Drive, and a mobile one that will be used to reach micro, small, and medium enterprise owners in remote areas of Belize. It was a collaborative effort. The Taiwanese embassy financed the retrofitting of the van for the mobile unit and the office space. Beltrade will provide the training and the government will create the opportunities. News 5's Marian Ali reports.
The symbolic cutting of the ribbon today marked the start of a project that Beltrade will provide for people who live in the far reaches of the country and want to learn more about how to take their micro, small, and medium businesses to the next level.
Too often we hear that MSMEs have so many challenges and having to move from one place to another in order to access service, especially with cost. And so this is just an additional tool that Beltrade, of course, as a part of the whole work of the government, has put in place. We figure that if we have these incubators, that micro, small, especially the micros, they can come in. There's a place, because that's another challenge, a place where I can go to work, a place where I can go to think, a place where I can engage others. So you will find out that others will come in. Right now we'll start with 8. There are 6 fixed, and there's the 2 laptops that they can use. And you can learn so much more about what others are doing. You can do your research. The advising is right here at our Small Business Development Center. And so the resources, and of course, there's no cost to it.
Beltrade's Executive Director, Dr. Leroy Almendares, told News 5 that 8 women applied for this first training phase, and digital training will be a critical part of it.
Look at what the pandemic did. Yes, there was a threat, but it also created its own opportunities because we found new businesses on the market. You need to set up a business plan. And so all of this, and then of course, like I said, there's a virtual knowledge center. And this is where a knowledge center where you find out other enterprises have registered, etc. People will know what you're selling or what services you're offering or product, and vice versa. They will know and you will know. So it creates a whole digital community. The intention here is to watch it grow, and then we'll see what additional resources may be needed in terms of additional computers and things like that.
Since micro, small, and medium businesses make up the majority of businesses in Belize, the project is a part of the government's effort to assist these enterprises to thrive, according to CEO in the Ministry of Finance, Narda Garcia.
This incubator is just one part of our strategic focus for economic development, job creation, and small business empowerment, and will be complemented by the telecenters that we will be launching across the country very soon. As evidence, MSMEs are the engine for Belize's economic growth and development, and therefore, many parameters, including legal, policy, and procedures, are being put in place. Incubators are seen as important conduits for business innovation. Our incubator, the iCube, targets groups who want to grow their business or develop new ideas that they can market.
Artists Brigida Hellock and Alva Palacio are 2 of the 8 women who applied to be a part of this first cohort of trainees.
We customize and do printing, so we customize t-shirts, mugs, cups, mouse pads, basically almost anything you want to be memorable, we customize them for you. I would like to learn how to properly manage my business.
Yeah. Where do you want to take it here?
Well, my dream is to have a branch of my business in each district, and also to start export. So I have a lot of big dreams. I just need they are providing mentors and advisors. So I just need that guidance to go ahead.
I consider myself an art activist, actually. So it's to develop my visions of advocating for those who cannot advocate for themselves, to bring more awareness into society, how we can grow and develop better as a community. So I'm really pushing my art in the sense of education. I'm brilliant as an artist, but as a businesswoman, I need a little fine-tuning.
Beltrade Executive Director, Dr. Almendares, says there are also opportunities for these entrepreneurs to apply for low-interest loans through this avenue. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
As we reported on Thursday, the Ministry of Agriculture is encouraging more Belizeans to engage in honey production and to diversify into value-added ventures like infusing honey with other condiments that can be used for minor health ailments. But because Belize has transitioned from a honey exporter to an importer over the last 3 decades, today we asked the Executive Director of Beltrade what the prospects are for Belize to reverse our current reality and once again compete with honey producers on the global market.
When you want to export your product, you just don't decide that I want to export my product. The market must want to have your product. Yes. But what makes that even easier is the fact that if you're going to a specific market, the market will tell you what's the quality, what's the standard, the quota, all of those things that I'm requiring. So that's important. As far as I know, we have increased our output of honey. Now, the thing is, if I want to export, I must make sure that whatever agreement I have in terms of a quota, whatever the quota may be, I must be able to meet that. Yes. Because the moment I can't, they go to some other country. And the last thing you want, and this is what we're trying to do, that's what I'm saying, we're increasing our production so that we can in fact export even more. Mm-hmm. But it is important, like I said, that even if it means working together to get those quantities that are necessary, that's something that we have to do. I believe that these incentives that are being provided by the government and additional incentives will make that easier, driving down the cost of business so that you can produce more. Our honey is really top-notch. Our honey is of very high standards.
The government of Belize is also seeking to establish a financial service commission with authority to regulate and supervise the financial services industry in Belize. These steps become necessary in light of international regulations that require nations to maintain anti-terrorism and money laundering systems that meet international standards. According to the leader for government business, Eamon Courtney, the persons appointed to this commission will have the highest qualifications in the sector. But does the bill, as it is currently drafted, give the minister responsible for finance undue influence over the commission? Senators debated the matter, and in the end, it was agreed that the bill would be held in committee for further deliberation.
Now, I am sure I read the plan Belize, you call it? And within that plan Belize of the PUP, the blue PUP, BLUE, the E for empathy because it's just no blue. They take off that E, just BLU. You have now that plan saying to the Belizean people, before getting elected, that they would engage in passing legislation that reduces, minimizes, or as far as maybe in certain cases eliminate ministerial discretion and power. I'm sure I read that somewhere in that document. This government is to be elected on the basis that they will reduce ministerial power. Well, this legislation does quite the opposite. It puts ministerial powers on steroids.
We have raised this matter time and time again, that for these important, especially independent bodies, that we should not be seeing these matters being dependent on the minister. The minister may, on the advice of, on the approval of. And when we look at, for example, the point that Senator Herrera raised in terms of the appeals, you want for persons to at least believe that the body I would be appealing to is an independent body and one that would not have any sort of influence.
Senator Perry took strong objection to the appointment of the Director General of the Financial Services Commission by the Commission with the approval of the Minister. I don't want to get into a legal debate with him because we all know who would win. Prayers. The power to appoint rests in the Commission. The approval is from the Minister. All I will say to the Honorable Senate is, in looking at this, we must ask the question, who should appoint? If it is to be amended, who should appoint? Honorable Senator didn't proffer any proposals.
The bill was passed by the Senate. Ministerial discretion was also the center of the opposition's argument regarding the credit reports bill brought to the Senate. As we have reported, the Briceño administration is seeking the approval of the National Assembly to establish a credit reporting system in Belize. A credit bureau would be created under the legislation. And in addition to other responsibilities, it would gather data on an individual's credit history, which they would then be able to share with creditors. Business Senator Kevin Herrera welcomed the general idea of a credit reporting system in Belize. However, if a customer believes the Bureau has inaccurately assessed them, a newly established review commission would hear their concerns. The issue of who appoints that review commission is a concern for Senator Perfeet.
I build millions, I go borrow the money, I get a bad credit rating from this credit bureau. So the bank says, why Perfeet, they have assessed you, this particular credit, this particular company that is a licensed credit bureau has said that your name no good. So I have a complaint because you may have essentially then defamed me by saying I have a bad credit rating, which in fact I may not have a bad credit rating. So who do I complain to? You have this credit system and I keep getting an unfair credit rating. Who do I complain to? Well, according to the Act, you complain to a review commission, right? But, Madam President, I will need more prayers. And this is no court of law. This is a court of passing laws. And this is a court of holding people to what they promise. And here we have the ugly head of the minister rearing again. The review commission shall consist of A, the director of the Bureau of Standards, who shall be the chairperson, and two persons, two members appointed by the minister. Minister again.
So this is certainly a welcome move, I believe. I think what it does is allows financial institutions to screen borrowers and monitor risk profiles. Why is this important, Madam President? Institutions need to assess risk before they are able to on-lend. And so when you go in and ask for credit, they need to assess your risk profile. That is not possible without a system that is churning out data on individuals.
Climate change has damaged coastal areas. There is a rise in temperatures, rise in sea levels, and it has also impacted the agro-productive sector and infrastructure. But for Belize to tackle climate change, it must be able to access climate financing for adaptation and mitigation. The Green Climate Fund is one such facility that assists small developing states like Belize with the monies needed to implement projects in all sectors in the battle against climate change. Today, a 5-year strategy was launched in Belize, plans to use to access these finances. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
Belize is highly susceptible to the disproportionate effects of climate change. It is scored at number 8 by the World Bank in terms of vulnerability to climate change. CEO in the Ministry of Economic Development, Dr. Osman Martinez, describes the villagers of Monkey River as the first refugees of climate change. The Belize Green Climate Fund Country Program launched today is a plan to address just that.
Climate change has a mega appetite to the point that it has swallowed Monkey River. It's swallowing the coastal areas from Corozal to Punta Gorda, but it's also affecting our productive sector, our service sector, our tourism sector, infrastructural sector, all layers of our economy. GCF country program 2022-2026 is very important because it's the roadmap on projects that will need to be implemented through climate finance. And more important, all the projects that are within the GCF country program were endorsed by GCF. So that's a comparative advantage that we are having in terms of moving forward to access climate finance.
The mandate of the GCF is to empower developing nations to fight against climate crisis. Leroy Martinez is the focal point for the Green Climate Fund in Belize under the ministry.
Well, as the national designated authority, we were appointed by Cabinet in 2015. Our main mandate is to create that environment so that we can capitalize in accessing climate finance from the Green Climate Fund. The Green Climate Fund has several funding windows. They provide grants, concessionary loans, guarantees, and equities. At the end of the day, this funding, you can use it to either adapt or mitigate.
Director of the Climate Finance Unit, Carlos Paul, says that the launch of the Belize GCF program is the start of the engagement with the largest climate financing facility for projects in mitigation and adaptation.
What we have with the country program is that, okay, we have identified specific projects and pipeline projects. So our role of my unit, of the Climate Finance Unit, and the overall Ministry of Economic Development is to work along with all stakeholders. And I mean all, I mean the private sector who have not been able to be in par with us. I think it's time for us to bring everybody, civil society, NGOs, for example. This session will continue this afternoon. Once you have an idea, once you have a concept, let's go. I mean, our role is for us to review it and ensure to provide that capacity that is needed for us to build a very good and solid project proposal that would really be financed by GCF.
And no project is too small or too big?
Oh, no, definitely. No project is too small, no project is too big. Once it's achieved, once it helps us to address the impact of climate change, we are there to support.
Back in 2022, the government of Belize was able to begin the rollout of Resilient Rural Belize, a multi-million-dollar project under GCF that has helped to build the capacity of various sectors, including agriculture, infrastructure, and energy.
We have what is the ongoing projects. Then we will look at the projects that are approved, but we haven't received any disbursement as yet, and the projects that are proposed. So for example, the projects that are ongoing is equivalent to about a 24 million Belize dollars, US, so 48 million Belize. And then for the projects that are approved but haven't been disbursed, that we're hoping that they will be disbursed this year, it is around 32 million US dollars, so around $64 million. But what we have learned is that whether we submit projects, it takes the same energy to develop small projects and large projects. The only thing is the outcome of the projects.
The Protected Areas Conservation Trust is an accredited agency for the GCF that can access up to $10 million in grants for environmental projects. The Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, headquartered in Belize, can support initiatives of up to $50 million. Other entities, such as the Development Finance Corporation and the Social Investment Fund, are also being considered for accreditation. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
When we return, star-studded lineup for Shut Down Belize concerts.
eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
The Marion Jones Sporting Complex promises to come alive this weekend for the Shut Down Belize concert headlined by Jamaican performing artist Dexter Daps. The artists have been arriving in Belize since Thursday. Today we got an opportunity to sit down with them to learn more about the music they create and their expectations for this weekend. And since this weekend's events have been surrounded by controversy, we also wanted to hear from Dexter Daps about it. News 5's Paul Lopez reports.
Girl, me just love how me and you connect like a Wi-Fi. You secret safe with me, a freak in a try. Ready?
Jamaican performing artist Dexter Daps arrived in Belize today to perform at the Shut Down Belize concert inside the Marion Jones Sporting Complex on Saturday night. He arrived at the Philip Golson International Airport this afternoon and made his way over to our studios for an interview.
The love, the reception, the ladies, beautiful. I mean, I'm looking for a whole lot more, but I've gotten a whole lot so far, you know? Yeah. I'm getting a good reception so far, so loving it.
We talked with the artist about his recent engagements in the music industry and what his plans are for the future.
To be honest, I've been trying to put this whole thing to a different level, you know what I mean? So, in all honesty, I've been trying to host my own shows, putting everything together, so it's like me curating everything, that way my fans can get the experience that I want them to get, you know what I mean? Because I know everybody blessed with a promoter like Young Survivors who really know for promote your brand as well as make you come please the fans, you know what I mean? Pleasing the fans is one thing, but you gotta make the brand look good.
And he certainly knows how to please his fans, particularly his women fans, which he admits make up a large percentage of his listeners.
That is true, that is true. Well, my songs are for the ladies mostly, you know what I mean? So we could get where that attraction is.
Dexter Daps' visit to Belize for this weekend's performance is not without controversy. In the face of a public back and forth between Dexter Daps and the promoters of his 2020 concert in Belize headlining the artist. This concert did not happen due to COVID. Daps is now preparing to be featured in another show. But his promoters advised that Daps would not respond to questions about the ongoing dispute. Since 2020, he has attained a new level of stardom.
Stardom don't really shake me that much. I mean, as I said on the live last night, I've been trying to help people before I had it. I'll give you my last and then just try to get it back. You know what I mean? That's been me from ever since. So when I have it now, it's so easy. You know what I mean? So nothing shakes me when it comes to the stardom.
Would you say it puts perhaps in some people's mind a target on your back where they want to take advantage of certain situations?
100%. But that comes with it too. You have to know the responsibilities of being a star, right? Yeah, I didn't ask for this, but I got it. Hey, let me tell you this. But not leave you. I'm me and you forever and ever. Me cheat and you cheat too. Me day a Belize too. Tomorrow.
Shutdown Belize will feature a host of additional international artists, including Romain Virgo, Ghanaian singer-songwriter Kitty, dancehall artist Moyan, and Afrobeats artist Sana. Kitty is fresh from attending the 65th Grammy Awards in Los Angeles. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
He is an award-winning Belizean reggae dancehall artist who at the age of 18 created his first Belizean hip-hop dancehall group in Los Angeles called the Dawood Dwellers. Ras Indio, as he is known internationally, has released quite a few music videos, including the famous UNITY. Today, he stopped by our studios to share with us his latest, called Bed of Roses.
Life ain't always a bed of roses. You have to work hard, people, you better know this. Ups and downs, continuous turn.
You know, life, and my life for the last 2 years has not been a bed of roses, you know, which is why many people even ask me, you still sing? And I'm like, of course, it's my life. But I had to take a little break. You know, I had a son medically involved. I had to end up way in Virginia for a while, away from the music. And then I have a son who actually got killed, you know, and that also demoralized me for a while. And I'm slowly getting my vibes back up to be able to release music. So Bed of Roses is basically explaining to people out there, just like I had to explain to my own self. I had to heed my own messages many times, but it's just telling us if we have things that come about in our life, don't let it put you down, don't let it ruin you, you know. Stay strong, stay focused, and the chorus goes like this. Oh, life ain't always a bed of roses. You have to work hard, people, you better know this. Ups and downs, continuous turnarounds. Stay wise and stay focused, yeah.
They say that persistence pays off, and for one very lucky Cayo resident, that couldn't be more true. After 8 years of playing Mega Bingo, he hit the jackpot with a $180,000 payout. Today, he visited Mega Bingo headquarters in Belize City to collect his grand prize. He asked us to withhold his name and face, but spoke about his excitement and plans for the money.
Big night, and I'm nervous. My whole body been in shake, but the first thing, my first reaction, I tell my family where I just win, so I just want to share with my family.
What was their
the
reaction?
Joy. They didn't believe me.
Yeah?
Yeah, they didn't believe me.
So what did you do? You showed
I don't know, I screenshot of the ticket and I showed them. I tell them, can't believe it.
Yeah.
I hit it.
You hit it? How long have you been playing?
I've been playing long, like nearly 8 years.
And I understand it's not your first time winning.
Nope, that's my first time. This is my second time.
Man, so luck. Oh, you have a lot of luck.
I don't know. Well, I may feel unlucky.
Yeah.
But no, I feel lucky.
What are you planning to do with this money?
Well, I got a lot of things in my mind right now. So, help out my mother. I got my house I need only upgrade too. So. I also upgrade it up and save a little bit for the future.
Are you going to continue playing Mega Bingo?
Oh, well, of course. I will take a shot to a bigger prize now.
Up next, Sabrina Daly takes us to the Belize Banana Fibers base.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marion Alley, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
Buena Vista Village is a small farming community located on the banks of the Mopan River in the Cayo district. The village primarily produces citrus and bananas, but now the women of Buena Vista Village are creating a trade of their own. The up-and-coming artisans are weaving a name for themselves with their exquisite tapestries made from banana fibers. In tonight's On the Bright Side, Sabrina Daly takes us to the Belize Banana Fibers base, where they transform agricultural waste into valuable home decor.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
Each item in this room has one thing in common: banana fibers. What you are looking at are the final products produced from this waste material. Retiree Jenny Dennis settled in Belize and saw the potential of an untapped market. Through an extensive process, they transform banana stalks that farmers dispose of, producing this end result. Belize Banana Fibers is also a business that supports women in different communities.
It started about 2 years ago, and the pandemic had hit, and my friend sent me a video, and it showed people in India making products from banana fiber. And so the very next day I saw it on my Facebook feed, and then the next day I showed it to one of my friends, and I was just gung-ho. We went down south and learned how to weave, and if this was a feasible project. We started researching the machines and how they work and which one we wanted to order.
But they could not afford the machine that would generate fibers from banana stalks. Instead, they got innovative and created their own.
During this process, we said, well, we're just going to have to make one, and Mr. Chulin, our farm manager, said, I can do it. Unbeknownst to us, he was a mechanical engineer and had been studying that. So we went out and got the steel and honed down what the what the machine would be, the specs of it, and he made the machine.
We had different machine that we were looking at, right?
Okay.
They wanted this, but the studying that we were making, and they were making, I were making, I said, this will be the perfect one, right? They had their one, I said, we want to do it. I said, this will be the perfect one.
Okay.
So we stick into this one.
After manually separating the layers from each stalk, the machine breaks them down into strips.
So when we put it over here, we run the machine. See?
And this is what will be creating beautiful pieces like what we see there as a chandelier.
Yeah, that is.
Wow. The extraction also rids the stalk of additional roughage, which is then turned into compost. For Belize banana fibers, everything has a use.
The banana stalks are biodegradable and they're waste. So we're using waste essentially, and from our project here, we produce waste again, which goes into compost. It goes into all kinds of things. They've started studies just within the last 2 years. They have learned that the waste like that comes after the fiber is pulled out, that waste can clean up oceans. It can take the lead out of water. The juice from it is good for medicinal purposes. There's so many other projects that can spin off of this one.
The next stage is the boiling process, after which they are dried. This is the final stage. The fibers are laid out to be dried on lines, like curtains. After drying, they will be distributed to women in different communities who've taken on the artisan trade.
Hello, Miss Jerry. We brought you some more stuff. Oh, that will be very good.
We educated ourselves on how to make products. All right, it's all over the internet, right? So we're internet schooled, and so we started making our own products, and now we teach it. We go to villages and we teach, and ladies there, they make these products and they put their own creativeness to it because we only teach basics. So we take the fiber to them, we give it to them, we don't charge them for it, and then when they have their products made, we go pick them up and pay them right then. And our end goal is to put income into these families. The women can work at home with their children, they can see to their husband and their household, and they can work and make these products at home, and we pick them up.
For Julia Hernandez, transitioning from a seasonal seamstress to a full-time weaver started with the pandemic. Now at her home in the village, she and her friends settle on a veranda to do their day's work, weaving with their little ones right at their side. Julia says this is her newfound profession.
When school closed, we don't have a lot of work because we don't have to do uniforms. We don't have that job because when COVID started, this was the problem because sewing stopped and we don't do uniforms because children never go to school again. And then I got this opportunity to start to work. It's a nice opportunity of job because we don't have to spend our time in go sell it by the road or house by house or by shop. She come and buy it, she bring the fiber, and she come and buy the things, buy the products.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Uno Fuels powered with Dynamax. Uno, a brand committed with the future.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5belize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Annalyn Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.